This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Warren Medical Gear Outfitters and Colby Valve.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 401, Record Games and Rivian Wheeling.
Tonight, Aaron gets slippery, Coy gets a workout, and Ben does some weight reduction.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, the podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. Your hosts tonight are Aaron, Coy, and my name is Ben. And tonight we are joined by Tim from Tim's Gearhead Garage. And welcome to the show. So, Aaron, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you, Ben?
I'm alive.
You guys made this so awkward, right? I don't even, it feels weird.
Well, he didn't specifically ask me how my week was, so I was just answering the question.
Like spiritually, like I'm in a good place. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm doing good. Ben, how are you?
I'm
alive. Tell us about this. Tell us about this weight reduction you did.
Well, I did it in the most unhealthy way. And it wasn't for my vehicle, it's for myself. I got sick with some stomach bug like about Wednesday night is when I started feeling crappy. And I've been on pretty much a liquid diet for the past 5 days. So I've lost a lot of weight that way. It works out great. Hit my weight goal I was going for, but it canceled my plans for the weekend. We were supposed to go celebrate my birthday and my wife's and I's anniversary this weekend because she was off. And my birthday is this upcoming weekend and she's working. So it was like, oh, let's do it the week before. And no, we're all sick. So instead we hung out at home. No fancy dinner or any of that. So, yeah, liquid in and out. Definitely. Not fun.
TMI.
Yep. Aaron, what about you? How was your week?
Let's see here. I put a couple more pieces of trim up on my shop. I reached out to the garage door installer and he said he hasn't heard on a ship date yet, even though April 12th is supposed to be when they ship. So, or the week of April 12th, or who knows. So doors are 9 days out from shipping theoretically. So waiting for those doors for the shop. But I did get the Frontier out and got to wear the nubs off the fresh rubber. I ground them down in some snow. So Coy and I went to a little town called Detroit, and it's nowhere near our guest. We have a Detroit here in Oregon for those people who don't know about Detroit, Oregon. It's up in the Cascade Mountain Range.
It was on fire a couple years ago, right?
It burned to the ground basically. They
both look like they recently burned to the ground.
Zing. I was actually telling my wife as we were going through the town, I was like, man, I know it's because people are rebuilding, but it's so nice. There's so many brand new houses or brand new modular homes and stuff like that. It's all brand new paint. Everything looks nice and clean. So it feels fresh, feels clean when you drive through the towns leading into Detroit. So yeah, we did some snow wheeling. We'll share the pictures when Coy talks about it because Coy, I invited Coy to come along. Coy's like, yeah, I don't know, maybe. I really had to twist Coy's arm to get him to go snow wheeling with me.
I imagine, considering how much he's been hitting you up to go out, I bet he was just like, I don't know if I want to go wheeling with you, right?
No, that absolutely wasn't the case. No, we talked about going to a Cars and Coffee event, and Coy's like, well, why don't we go snow wheeling instead? I'm like, let's do it, because we're not going to get many more snow days here in the Pacific Northwest. In fact, I'm shocked that we still are getting snow days in April. So it was April 1st, and we're still getting snow.
We got some gorgeous powder this weekend too.
Yeah. So Coy, tell us about the snow trip, and I'll cycle through some photos.
Yeah, it's not much. Went up, took like some ankle deep snow, got stuck a few times, came home. No, we went up to Detroit and went played in the mountains and found some nice deep snow to play in. My wife drove for a little bit. There's that's me trying to open my door. and see the slider in the snow and stuff. Yeah, it was a great time. The snow down at lower elevation was really wet and slippery and not good. But as you got higher, it got quite a bit better. And that's our buddy Ryan. He has a cool triple locked Land Cruiser. We all played in the snow and messed around, and then Aaron had a hard out. He had to get his wife home she had to make a pie. So we
Yeah.
escorted him back to town, and then we kind of talked about it. And me and Ryan were like, look, this is probably the last time we're going snow wheeling for the season. Let's go hit it hard one more time. So we did. And we sat there and winched each other till about 8:30. And finally then we didn't have a good place to turn around. So I ended up backing up. I don't know. It felt like 5 miles, but it was probably half a mile in the snow. And if you get out of the rut a little bit, but I don't know how many times we winched and how much we dug. But yeah, my shoulders are sore and stuff. We got up. I don't know if you guys remember the last time I went snow wheeling, that picture of that Jeep that was slid in the ditch that I had kind of double lined and stuff to pull out. So that particular spot, there was fresh snow on there, but that's all at an angle into this ditch. Once you're in the ditch, just behind that is a culvert. So you can't get in the ditch. You have to be pulled uphill, basically. You can't be pulled downhill and out. So at that spot, even though there was a bunch of fresh snow and it looked level, the snow underneath was still that hard pack, and it was just sliding us into there. So we dug, sat there and dug tracks to try and keep us straight, and kept trying to dig, and we kept, we were getting 5 feet at every attempt. But
is that what's happening in this picture?
Yeah, that's as far as we made it. I mean, we had probably spent an hour trying to get past. We needed to get like 20 more feet past this little spot, and then we could have kept going. But and we kind of have it popped back up on top of the snow there. It was kind of below it, but yeah. So we tried and tried. And he was asking, like, do you want to give it a try? And but it's like, there's no good way for me to get around you. So we backed up probably a quarter mile, and there's kind of a spot I was trying to get turned around in. And then I backed up and I said, well, you try, because I can always winch your front end towards me, and at least one of us will be pointed forward then. So he did a Hail Mary reverse Rockford move into the ditch and bank, and then got it like halfway around. Then we winched it to a tree kind of halfway, backed it back in the ditch and pulled them back. And then I just backed up the rest of the way forever, and got turned around. We headed back out of there, and it was like 9:30 when we got back to Detroit. But I had a great time. Like, sometimes you just got to go and beat your head against a tree for a while. That's the fun of it. Just constantly winching and snatching each other out of the snow.
So, Aaron, for the little bit of time you got to go wheeling, how'd those new tires act compared to being on race slicks in the snow?
They grabbed it. Took some figuring out. I didn't air down enough. I aired down to 12 in the front and 11 in the rear at first, and that wasn't aired down enough. So I had to air down. We did, I think, 9 in the front and 8 in the rear. That got it to bite.
What's your sidewall? Is it like a C or a D?
It's an E.
Is it an E rated?
I believe they're E rated, so they're pretty stiff.
Yeah.
And they're new tires, brand new wheels. So you should kind of ease your way down to those low pressures till you figure out where
definitely.
you beat up.
Yeah, I didn't want to blow a bead off. That's why I started where I did, and I thought it would get me good because these are wider tires also than what I've normally run with the pizza cutters. But yeah, not good enough. So I did have to air down, but I had no problems, no bead issues. But we didn't get pretty wild. I mean, it was deep snow, but there was nothing to pinch the tire or roll for being at too much of an angle or squeeze through something. So it's pretty easy on the tires when you do that. Yeah, I thought there was something else I wanted to add about that, the snow trip, but that was pretty much it.
You've decided you wanted to duct tape the inside of your beads to get them to stick better?
No. No, I'd never do that.
No.
How about you, Timothy? Have you done anything off-road related this week?
This week, no, not really. The closest I got to off-road was taking a motorcycle riding course in the snow on Saturday morning.
Oh, sweet. To get like an endorsement?
Yeah, basically, it's the Illinois state requires it. Or, well, they don't require it, but it counts instead of taking the DMV test. Go take this
Yeah.
course for $20 and then you're home free. So,
It's only $20?
yeah, it's actually free. And the
Wow.
$20 is just like to hold your spot in line. You can donate it afterward. I was surprised to
Huh.
find out Illinois is the only state in the union where it is free.
That's pretty awesome.
I think
Yeah.
that course in Oregon here is like $300 or something.
Holy cow.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
not cheap here either.
In Florida, I've heard it's $500 and it's mandatory.
It might be mandatory here now, but they do supply the motorcycle you ride on, so that may be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to
It's
be fair,
mandatory if you want to ride a motorcycle, is what I assume you're trying to say, Koi.
Yes, to get a motorcycle endorsement is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess to be fair, it wasn't like deep snow. It was just flurries on a 38-degree morning. But at 7 in the morning is not what I was hoping for.
Yeah. Yep.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month.
I got a heck of a mail call today. So
Did you?
I've officially caught them all. Plus, I got the patch of the month. So
There
that
you go.
is all 4 of the Poke Wars set. It was Darth Maul Gengar that just dropped on Friday, which I thought was pretty cool. I like Darth Maul from episode 1 of Star Wars. And then the patch of the month is the will trade for Easter eggs or for eggs. So yeah.
In the comments, Eric says, or ride dirty for 30 years. Ha ha ha. I have a feeling that Eric might not have his endorsement. And then Justin says, what's the driver's license? So, yeah, we know you folks are out there.
There are
know
some
you folks
outlaws
are
out there for sure.
Absolutely.
Riding dirty.
Yep.
And then let us not forget the our patches. We've got you can pick up our patches for $13 shipped in the US, or $10 for any additional as well, or $10 picked up each from us in person. Shoot us a message through any of our channels, and we can hook you up with a link via PayPal. And that's the Off-Road Podcast in the Lumen Locker patch, which that Lumen Locker patch does indeed lumen by glowing in the dark. So
Have tire troubles ever left you deflated? Colby Valve has got you covered. Ever have a valve stem leak? Colby Valve makes reusable and easily replaceable valve stems that don't require you to remove your tire from the wheel. They work with your off-road rig, ATV, side-by-side, commuter vehicle, or even your tractor. Never be left stranded again because of a busted valve stem. They also have a tire repair kit for those punctures that keep you away from doing your favorite thing, wheeling. Make sure to check out colbyvalve.com or ask for them at your local off-road products store.
we got someone watching us on Twitch right now, guys.
Yeah, that's pretty slick.
Hey, yo, what's up, G?
Yeah. What's up, Diggs?
So news today, guys. Turtleback trailers. I'm not sure what's going on, but I think everybody know who Turtleback trailers are, right? They make the ultra cush off-road, beautiful works of art trailers. Not cheap by any means, but they've, at least in America, I should say, they seem like, in my mind, one of the oldest like premium, off-road trailer, tent trailer brands. They kind of put out like I don't know what the right word would be, but open-ended message on their page. They said they're halting production for the remainder of 2023. And then a quote from the whole thing they wrote. It's been a great journey creating memories with you. We have loved every part of this community, and it's tough to say goodbye for now. Thank you for years of support and investment. So I don't know if they're going out of business. it almost
Yeah.
makes it sound like they're just sold out for 2023. But since some of the other stuff is kind of ominous, like they're going to go away completely, I don't know what's going on there. Nobody knows right now.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It could be a, hey, we're halting production because of prices and we need to readjust and figure it out. But it could be the end.
Yeah, halting production for 2023, and it's this was last month, at the very end of last month, so that's in March. I can't imagine that they're sold out for the year. And if they were sold out for the year, like their website, you can't click on anything on their website. You can't look at, it's just completely a one-page website now that has this on there. So while they are leaving it open-ended, I have a feeling that they are gone. So kind of a bummer. But it's
Are
an
they-
expensive investment, and their rooftop, their trailers are just a enclosed utility trailer with a rooftop tent. Like you don't even get to climb inside of them to sleep or do anything. Everything is outside of your cargo trailer.
So do you think that they're gone, or do you think they got out by like Transamerica Auto Group or Smitty Built or somebody, or Weston? I don't know.
Like they bought them out and shut them down.
Well, they're, finishing out what they have, and they're going to be offered 4-wheel parts in the next couple years or something. I don't know. Just a thought.
It's a possibility. But I'm guessing with like the way prices have gone for materials and that, they don't feel that they're gonna be able to compete. I mean, their trailers started at $25,000.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money for a trailer that you don't get to sleep in. You sleep on. And that's a tough cookie to swallow.
Yeah. I'm going to say though, back in the day when they first launched, I was super stoked for their brand and thought their stuff was awesome. I mean, I still do, but the camp trailer I built it from looking at what they did and what they have to kind of create my camp trailer. Yeah. All right. Well, we've got another story here. This one comes from Car Scoops. It is open air safari Rivian R1T. So there is a place in Africa. I neglected to find out what country this is in Africa, but the Maasai Wilderness Conservation Trust has taken a R1T and modified it to be a zero emissions open air safari vehicle. So as you can see in these photos we're going to drop here, they've chopped the roof and replaced it with a new windowless lofted unit. They call that that canopy thing a lofted unit. And it's got 2 extra rows of seats. So it's got 8 rows of seats total, and they're all stadium. They get higher and higher and higher as you go. And this is also the world's only right-hand drive Rivian, which is kind of a neat thing.
They're in Kenya.
Kenya. That's right. Kenya. The truck also features a brush guard up front and a pair of spare tires mounted to the tailgate. So I always love dual spare tires. I don't know about you guys, but I think they're pretty sexy. So the duties of the truck, according to the Maasai, or maybe it's Maasai, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. The Maasai Wilderness Conservation Trust is for quiet anti-poaching patrols, zero tailpipe emissions transport for Maasai firefighters, and critical on and off-road ranger operations to health and education programs. So pretty neat that it gets to be used out there. And this thing is completely charged with solar. They don't have any electricity wherever this thing is based out of. There's no electrical infrastructure. So this is charged by solar for all of its use. I thought it was also pretty cool. I don't know where the cameras are, and maybe we'll find that out later from Timothy, but you can see on the dash in this photo that it still has the all around view on part of it. And it looks like they've got a forward facing camera going on as well. And then in this camera, you can see through the steering wheel at what looks like a GPS screen. And I love that there's just no road in that screen.
I don't mind what they did here, but like you see the Defenders and stuff that they do this way, but they look kind of
Uh-huh.
cool. Whereas this looks like an actual boat. Like I feel like this is like I don't know why I saw this. And I'm like, oh, it looks like you'd take that out of the water. Something's different about that roof than what they do with the Defender.
Kevin says it looks like an 8-person golf cart. I don't think
is
he's
that what
wrong.
it is? It's got a golf. I need to look up a picture of the high roof Defenders because they did something different, and I feel like they're doing that Rivian some injustice.
Yeah, it's not the best looking thing. It did mention that with
This view
the
right
chop,
here from the back corner, it looks like it should be on the water. Does it not?
it's like a pontoon boat. It's a pleasure
Yeah.
craft.
Yeah, it looks like we should be drinking on that or something.
Yeah, I think what it is the lack of a windshield, or and then how it overhangs kind of gives it that golf cart look.
Yeah, I love the brush guard on the front and how they did the rings around the headlights, which is pretty sweet. So,
Yeah, that
anyways,
brush guard is really cool. I'd love to get one of those for my truck.
yeah, is there anybody making accessories like that out there?
There's a few. There's some different companies that make side steps and rock sliders, but that's about it for now that I've seen as far as off-road oriented accessories.
Yeah. Mark says it'd be peaceful driving that through fresh, deep snow and listening to it quietly crunch under the tires.
I can confirm
That would
it
be-
is.
That would be fun.
Snow's a lot louder than you think. I think it might get annoying a little bit.
Well, and then let us not forget that on our contest that's coming up on May 8th, we will be doing a show with Andy Fermoren about recovery stories. Leading up to the show, we'd like you, our listeners, our pavement haters, to write into us with your own personal stories of when you've been recovered or helped recover someone else. And for doing that, we're going to pick a random person to win a Warren medium duty accessory kit. So you've still got time. You've got just a little over a month to write in, get those stories in. They're coming in. So if you want a chance at it, you better hurry up and get your story in.
And also, don't forget that we've got the Earth Day trail cleanup, where you choose a location and you plan out what you're going to do, and you go out there and you clean up, do some trash pickup at the local shooting pit, go to your favorite campgrounds and clean out the grates where people throw their trash and try to burn it before they leave. Go hit the trail at the local OHV park, pick up some cans and bottles that people are always throwing out there. Go to your favorite campsite and just do whatever. Pick up the debris wherever you're at. Go out and have fun. You've got
Come to my house, help me clean my shop.
you've got 2.5 weeks to get this planned and implemented. So it's April 22nd is Earth Day. So make sure you guys get out there and do something.
Yeah, it's a Saturday. It's not hard to. I mean, you want to go wheeling, right? Just add getting out of your vehicle and picking up some trash to that, and boom, you've just made the world a better place.
And if you've got kids that go with you, every time you open the door, trash falls out of your vehicle and they don't even see it, that you can pick that up and count that as well.
Yeah.
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
All right, Tim, we got to start you off with the fast 5 facts, okay? All right, new or old vehicle?
A little bit of both, but my heart goes out to old vehicles. I love me some vintage cars.
All right, summer or winter camping?
Actually, fall camping. It's the best of both worlds.
That's not what the question asked.
Okay.
We're going with extremes here.
Okay. Winter.
There you go.
That's fine.
Rock, sand, snow, or mud.
I'd say rock and mud are my two favorite.
Favorite vehicle brand?
I'm gonna have to go with Ford, but don't sue me. I really like them all, just for different reasons.
And favorite tire?
Honestly, I haven't found my favorite one yet. I'm a sucker for a good all-terrain, and so far, Cooper and Hankook have both really impressed me.
Finally,
then-
someone else who likes Hankook.
And then any recommendations for someone new to off-roading?
It doesn't have to be a big production. Just put some gas in it and go drive. And if you're ready to throw some accessories on, protection, skid plates, that kind of thing. Maybe a tow rope just in case.
Well,
Yeah, so
now
that
we're
was-
gonna get into a little bit more about you. How did you get started in off-roading?
So I just kind of came into it naturally over the course of my college days. I joined actually the Baja SAE program, which we built our own tube chassis buggy and took it racing against other colleges, and that's really where it all
Yes.
started from. So I took my little all-wheel drive independent suspension SUV and I gave it a lift kit and a nudge bar, took it out into the woods and started having fun.
Did you get to drive the Baja SAE project much?
Yeah, a couple of times. I got to drive it in a snow race up in Michigan, and then I got to drive it for a couple different events. They always put me in for the drag race because I was pretty lightweight, still am. But yeah, so I've probably got maybe 10 hours total seat time in the thing over a couple of years, but it's memories I'll cherish forever. It was a lot of fun.
I used to be around some of the SAE go-kart, the same thing, but the like mini IndyCar version of that. And I always ask, like, do you guys like fight each other? And they're just like, yeah, same thing. It's like, we pretty much just find the lightest three guys and who's the best, which would destroy me because I'm like 300 pounds. So
Well, so in Baja, there's also a sled pulling event. So everybody got some seat time in Baja. That was one of our, unlike Formula SAE, at least at my college, Baja made sure everybody got at least a little bit of seat time.
that's cool.
That's nice. Well, I need to jump off of our main topic here and just give a shout out to Mark in the comments because he says that only cool people pick up trash, and that is 100% true. Only cool people pick up trash. All right, so our next question here is what is the first vehicle you took off road?
So that would be a 2002 Mazda Tribute with the venerable fire-breathing 3-liter V6 and all-wheel
Yes.
drive. So it's a nice little car. I bought it from my grandparents as my first car. Gave it a lift kit, some all-terrain tires, a nudge bar, which I did custom modify to put a winch on it. Light bar came before all that, though. That had to be the first thing was the LED lights.
Yeah, lights before lockers, I think is what they say.
That's what they say, and that's what I did.
That means you need a lumen locker patch for that rig.
I think I do. When I was watching that ad, I told myself, oh, I got to get one of those.
Yeah.
So, what's been your favorite rig to hit the trail in?
Got to be honest, it's the Rivian R1T. I've had it for about a year and a half now, taken it to a couple off-road parks. Just recently took a road trip out to Utah to go see the record games, and I stopped in Moab, and I went wheeling in Sand Hollow, and it was just an awesome experience. I loved every second of it.
Nice.
All right. This is my favorite question to ask. What is your absolute most embarrassing thing that happened on the trail? That one that you think about at night, you're laying there and you're just like, it's 10 years ago. Why did I do that?
Yep. So one of the times I was taking my Mazda off-road, I was out with this group of guys, fantastic. And there was like a waterfall that some of them were trying to climb up. And I obviously wasn't going to do that. But the trail, you have to go past the waterfall to like down the side of it. There's like a bypass route. So I was just driving the bypass to go around it. And somebody at the same time was driving up it. And there were people shouting commands, somebody spotting him. And so I wasn't paying attention to what was being shouted because I thought it was for him. Well, it turns out I was getting dangerously close to the drop off down the side of this waterfall, and somebody was shouting at me, driver, driver, turn left. But I wasn't paying any attention. And so I just feel all of a sudden, thunk, the right front tire drops off, and all of a sudden my subframe is resting on the edge of this. And it wasn't hard for them to rescue me, but there was a brief, 5 minutes where my vehicle hung in the balance. They ran a winch line to the hitch to kind of keep me from going over. And I just kind of drove back off to the left, and it was fine. But I definitely spent plenty of time thinking about that. Like, man, how could I have ever been so foolish? I didn't look before I left. I wasn't paying attention. So that's probably my most embarrassing moment. And now I've shared it all with you.
There we go. And we're going to do an episode in the near future of off-road screw-ups, off-road mistakes. So it's going to be a fun one to talk about. Not including the recovery stories that we're doing coming up. So tell us about your favorite place to wheel. You've gone to a few epic places. Do you have a favorite place to wheel?
So it's probably a bit of a cop-out to say Moab or Sand Hollow. As far as local places, I'm from the Midwest. I'm really fond of this place called Moonlight Racing Off-Road Park. It's in Missouri. It's pretty close to where I went to college. It's just got a soft spot in my heart. Some nice trails. They actually do like rock bouncer events there. They said they've got trails from mild to wild. So that's probably my favorite. But of course, I have to give Sand Hollow and Moab their due credit. I mean, they're these meccas of off-roading, and I can't wait to go back to them.
Is there any places that you haven't gone that you'd like to go to?
I mean, you name them. They're on the list. Windrock, Tennessee, the Rubicon Trail. There's even, so many out there that I have no idea exist that I'd love to go to someday.
You want to tell us what you think your biggest win on the trail, your hero moment, that one you think back to, you tell all your prospective girlfriends about?
Well, honestly, I'm not really sure. I haven't had any big hero moments, to be honest. I try not to do anything crazy. I like to do the most dangerous thing I can as absolutely safely as possible. All my friends refer to me as the safety guy.
I'm guessing anytime you pull a Rivian into an off-road park, that's a hero moment. Like, aren't people just like, what?
To be fair, yeah, the reactions are always very positive. I like being almost like a brand ambassador is what it feels like, because there's so few of them out there that people are going to ask me a bunch of questions. So I guess, yeah, just driving around, getting people kind of acquainted with it, letting them check it out. That's always a really positive experience for me.
I imagine. What made you decide to actually get a Rivian?
I kind of just wanted to be a part of the future, and it's been incredible. I mean, it's perfect daily driver, but it's so capable in so many different ways. It's an absolute blast. I could not resist the temptation, so to speak, of getting one.
Why don't you list off some of your favorite things that you like about the Rivian? Tell us some of those, and if there's anything that you don't like about it, if you don't mind sharing that at all. I'm sure you get asked this all the time at the gas station. Wait, you're not at a gas station.
Yeah, I don't mind. So my favorite thing about it is that the vehicle has multiple personalities in kind of the best way possible. It's like a switchblade or a Swiss Army knife. Sorry. You can slam it to the ground and drive it like a sports car. I think it pulls as much lateral G-force as like a Mustang GT350, which is kind of insane to me.
Yeah.
It's crazy fast, but you can also jack up the suspension and take it off-road. Put it in what they call rally mode suspension, and it'll soak up potholes like they're not even there. It's a lot of fun to do donuts in the snow. It's just a jack of all trades, and it does everything pretty dang well, I think.
Need that rally mode suspension for when I drive in Portland.
Yeah. Or Detroit. Either one of them. Does Rivian send like updates out over the internet or like Wi-Fi digitally, whatever you call that?
Yeah, they send they call them over-the-air updates every couple of months.
Yeah. And do you have to pay for additional features? Like I saw that Rivian had that like level your truck mode.
No, that was free with the update. They call it camp mode. And yeah,
Okay.
it'll just level the truck while it's parked. It's really
Gotcha.
useful for loading motorcycles into the back, actually.
To make it level or to squat the rear end?
It levels it out, but if I like back up to a driveway that's got some angle to it, I can lower the back end.
I gotcha. Okay. In the comments, Mark wants to know what your tire size is on your Rivian.
Ooh, I can't quite remember the metric version, but they're 34-inch tires on a 20-inch rim, and I think they're like 10 and a half wide.
I didn't realize they were that tall. Crazy.
They hide them really well in the wheel wells.
So do you get like charge anxiety? And like, do you get that out on the trail, like trying to make sure you have enough range when you're out and about? Like what's the range like when you're off road? Do you lose a bunch because you're high torque, low speed?
So it all kind of depends on what kind of off-roading I'm doing. You know, like if I'm hitting the sand and going fast, or like tearing up a mud puddle, or if I'm like, kind of slowly taking on a trail or some rocks. I've never really been one to get range anxiety in a gas or electric vehicle. I'm the kind of guy that'll drive my car until E and then a little further. So making the switch to electric didn't bother me at all. You still get basically the full range off-road as long as you keep your foot out of it. I've been really impressed so far. I can go 3 days of off-roading, a couple hours a day without having to charge it.
I just want to say to Josh, I appreciate that you noticed that I go through all this work to find a new image for my background every week, whereas Ben just lazily does the same one for 6 months in a row.
I had
glad
a
other people have
background
done that.
last week. I had a different background last week.
I just noticed a listener is noticing that, and I was thanking him, Ben. I'm not talking to you.
He didn't
Tim,
he didn't say it was the same background. He says that he always shows his Forerunner.
Yeah,
There we go. That's the new background.
done. Should we all be getting Rivians? Like that's what. Like I keep seeing them. Everybody loves them. Like, do I need to trade my FJ in for a Rivian at this point?
I would say you don't have to, but I can't blame you if you did. They're a lot of fun. I think everybody should go and drive one because EVs, once upon a time, they had like this negative reputation. Some places they still do, but and more of them coming out are just so innovative and have a lot of soul to them. That's what I like most about the Rivian. It's just it feels like a car that an enthusiast would really enjoy. So I say, go drive one, have fun, find a friend who's got one that'll let you beat on it and give it a whirl. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but worth a
Ooh,
shot.
I got one here for you. You're in the Midwest, right? So you get the really cold, and the snow. How's that affected like range and charging with the snow for you with the Rivian? Has that been a pain in the butt? Has that been one of those downfalls?
It's certainly, it's part of the process. That it is what it is. Any electrical system is more efficient when it's warmer out than when it's colder out. And electric vehicles are no different. I can't remember off the top of my head the actual efficiency change. When I originally took delivery, I took delivery in the winter. So to me, that's normal. And in the summer, I get extra range. But maybe that's just
That's
too
a good way
positive.
to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I like
and
Kevin's
with
comment here. Electric vehicles definitely have positive and negative.
womp, womp. Oh man.
That's the truth.
I was
You got me.
gonna resist putting that comment up.
It made me laugh out loud, so I had to.
Made me go
Are you familiar with Bill Burke at all?
Can't say that I am. No.
So he's has been like I don't know what his exact title is, but he trains people on how to off-road. And I believe he was, do you know what the Camel Trophy is? Have you heard of the Camel Trophy?
No. It sounds vaguely familiar.
Check that out on YouTube. There's like an hour and a half long video of Camel Trophy through the year. Basically, it was Land Rover sending vehicles to remote places around the world, having people from all over the world drive their vehicles through a jungle track, through a desert, whatever. And it was a competition but people were awarded team spirit awards and stuff like that. Anyways, I believe Bill Burke was on that in addition to what he does now, where he trains people. But he, for the last couple of years, has been running a Rivian pickup truck as his main vehicle, as far as I can tell. And he trains people, and he has Rivian off-road trainings and things like that too, in addition to just regular off-road training. So he's definitely putting his Rivian through the paces if anybody's out there wondering how well you can do this.
Yeah, he does. It's Bill Burke's Four Wheeling America LLC. He's a I4WDTA certified.
That's
How old is
that's
Bill
the
Burke now?
I bet he's in
103?
his no, he's probably in his late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
It says since 1986 he's been Four Wheeling America. I think that's when like his first video came out, isn't it? I was
Probably.
born in 85 and I'm pushing 40. Just say. Just say.
Yeah. Anyways, well, check out, for any of our listeners, and also you, Timothy, check out Bill Burke. He's got a Facebook page, he's got social media and stuff like that. And then also check out man, I just mentioned it, the Camel Trophy series. Trophy series is pretty awesome. All right, let's talk about the record games. You went to the record games. How did you even hear about the record games? And then can you kind of give us an overview of what they are?
Yeah, certainly. So I've got a friend who used to be a tow truck driver, and one day I'm hanging out in his garage. He's got a bar in his garage, so I'm there chilling, and he's got this video up in the background. I'm like, oh, what's that? Matt's Off-Road Recovery. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. And it all just kind of started from there. Started watching his channel, started watching the other channels in that ecosystem, Fab Rats, Robbie Layton, Rudy's Adventure and Design, Trailmater, so on and so forth. And it turned into, there's this ecosystem of off-road experts in Utah and Arizona, and they all have off-road tow trucks, and they all want to see who's got the best off-road tow truck. That's an example of one right there. That's Trailmater, owned by Rory Irish from Moab Motorsports. So it was originally, as told by Matt, supposed to be just a couple of guys out in Sand Hollow putting their tow trucks to the test, see who's got the better one. And one of their team members actually had the idea to turn it into something bigger. And that's what you see before you is the record games. So that's Matt's off-road record, world's largest off-road record. And they decided to put on an extravaganza. So a multi-day event where they invited thousands of their closest friends from the internet to come and watch feats of strength with these tow trucks. So they've got on the beach there at Sand Hollow State Park, they set up these, basically carnival games, but with giant tow trucks. There was a dead pull, there was a rollover recovery, a welding competition, a dyno, and a flex off, unless I'm forgetting one. And there was a big vendor show. It was a lot of fun. That was day one. Day two was everybody takes their truck and they haul a gutted Isuzu Rodeo behind it up what they call Sand Mountain at the Sand Mountain Off-Highway Vehicle Park. And that was just incredible. I mean, it's thousands of people up on the hill watching these guys take their rigs over a couple of miles worth of some really tough trails. It was double Sammy and 777, and they topped it off by going up the chute. It was just a wonderful event. Day three was a trail cleanup, which actually did not go according to plan because they were expecting to have some garbage to pick up. And it turns out all of the fans that showed up for this did not leave behind a single piece of garbage.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's what you call treading lightly right there.
That's right.
So I got to know, how do you know these are Isuzu Rodeos and not Honda Passports?
I think they had a bit of both. But once you cover it in spray paint, you take off the badges by wiping it across a rock or two, and you can't tell the difference.
There's no way to tell. Yeah.
I really like how they tested everybody here, but I feel like from what I've watched, they missed one beat. If I'm getting my vehicle towed from off-road, I want the least amount of dents and rollovers as possible on my vehicle. So I wish they would have did a dent check before and after or something.
So they kind of kept track of that a little bit loosely. And I think Paul from Fab Rats, his had the worst damage, and Rory Irish, he had the least amount of damage on his. They said from the start that the record games were rigged, but they didn't know who for. But they hoped that it were rigged for the crowd's entertainment, and they certainly
There you
were.
go.
On the scoring sheet, the point system, there was basically no deductions for doing damage to the Isuzu.
Yeah, what a fun time.
Yeah, that looks like a blast. So, what was the experience like overall? Did you have a blast? Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, it was so much fun. The atmosphere was great. The weather was perfect. There was some concern about that, like will it be good weather? Will it be too hot? Will it be rainy? It was absolutely choice. Um, it was just a lot of fun. Everybody there was in a good mood, happy to be there. You know, we're all out playing in the sand, having a good time.
What was the viewing areas like? And then tell us about like transportation, like thousands of people getting to and from these viewing areas.
So they ended up having like 5 or 6,000 people show up, which was more than they were expecting. And so the viewing areas, although crowded, were still pretty good. On the beach, there's like this giant dune that they have right next to the roadway. It offered a great view over all of the different event areas all at the same time. And then up on Sand Mountain, as long as you were willing to kind of billy goat around on the rocks, you could still get a good view from basically anywhere.
I tuned into some live feeds and it looked like there was 3,000 to 4,000 people there. Was there an actual count of how many people showed up?
There probably is, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was way more people there than I assumed would be there for the inaugural year of an event like this. Usually events like this kick off pretty small, word of mouth. I know they advertised it for a few months kind of thing, but I had no idea there would be that many people showing up to it.
Yeah, it definitely surprised everybody. I was surprised, and so were all the different creators there.
Yeah, there was
I
more
really-
people there. There's more people there than a WNBA game.
I've had more people at my house. Sorry, I was talking about something else. I'm really curious to know, like, if this could become a yearly thing, like, because clearly I missed it. I would love to have seen it. I'm hoping that it's a yearly thing. Did you run the trails there, or were the trails insanely packed? Were these all like wheelers, so the trails were busy during the games, or do you know anything about that?
So there was on the day of the record games, like a special area for parking for people with off-road capable rigs. And so on the day of the actual trail run, so there's the trail, thousands of people, and then you look just over to the right, and there's these sand dunes with dozens, probably hundreds of rigs all parked overlooking the event. And as they would, the rigs would make their way up a little ways, you'd see some of them tear out and drive up the sand dunes further to get a better view. There were people all over the trails, not all hardcore wheelers. There were a ton of side-by-sides, some buggies, some pickup trucks, some SUVs, just a little smattering of everything, I'd say.
Now, what was like your favorite moment of the trail, or I mean, of the record games?
Honestly, just all the positive reactions that I got from people seeing a Rivian out there, and they were excited that I was out there. Um, Other than that, I mean, just being up close personal to the rigs as they were driving through. Merlin from Merlin's Old School Garage definitely got a reputation over the weekend as Madman Merlin. And there was a point where he came through just, maybe 20, 30 feet in front of us, and just watching the rigs up close doing their thing was a lot of fun.
Anytime you've been off-roading in your Rivian, have you ever seen another Rivian in the wild?
So, yes, twice. The first time it was me and a couple of buddies that have Rivians. We drove to an off-road park in Indiana. Not sure that counts. The other time was actually at the record games. There was another gentleman there that had a Rivian R1T. And we saw him on both day 0, like the pre-registration day, and then on day 2, the day of the actual hill climb. We actually parked up next to him, and there was a Nissan Leaf swapped Land Cruiser that parked next to us. So 3 EVs all parked in the same spot up on the mountain.
Land Cruiser. That's interesting. I wonder if that was the guy who did the Nissan Leaf swapped 4Runner, Ben, that we had on the show.
I don't think it is. The Nissan Leaf is a really popular swap. That's what I've been considering doing for the Jeep truck. I've got a Jeep truck I'm considering
I'm
swapping.
always curious how that works because the Nissan Leaf itself, you can drive like 80 miles before a recharge, or like 120 if it's like brand new. And then you put that in a Land Cruiser, which is like 6,500 pounds. So do you have to go like 40 miles in the recharge?
No, as you can, you made it to the transmission, and your different transmission gears can give you help with your range and your torque variables.
So you get more range because you have a transmission. I feel like
Well, and
extra 5,000 pounds.
And he also made it so he could hot swap battery packs fairly quickly.
Oh, well, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, and the Nissan Leafs, you can their battery packs are pretty easy to take apart, and so you can build a bigger battery pack and all that too.
And I think they're inexpensive, but
Yeah,
anyways, we're
way off topic.
we're
it's
we're
okay.
derailing this train.
So who? I obviously the crowd were the biggest winners for the record games. Was there like an official winner announced, and like anyone you'd say like did the best in your opinion?
Yeah. So the fourth loser, as they call it, there was one winner and 4 losers, is what they said. So the fourth loser was Matt himself. Third loser was Eric from BSF, the OG. And then the second loser was Paul from Fab Rats. And the first loser was Rory Irish from Moab Motorsports. First place went to Merlin from Merlin's Old School Garage. But after the fact, the crowd voted for the fan favorite, and that was Rory Irish from Moab Motorsports.
Oh, awesome. Very
Way to go,
awesome.
Phil Mater. We had Rory on the show. Oh, was it
It's
about a
been
year
a few
ago?
years ago. Oh, it's been a few years ago now. Yeah, because it was before.
Oh,
It was before Coy and I went to Moab, because I stopped by and put some stickers and business cards on his seat. I parked my Nissan next to his rig and took some pictures while they were closed. So, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
What I want to jump back to your Rivian here a little bit. Do you have any plans to build, or actually, have you done any modifications to it yet?
Nope. So far, the only modification is seat time and a second set of tires. That's about it.
Okay.
I'd like to put on a set of rock sliders, but just trying to figure out which one I actually want, because very few of them are actually out there, or very few copies of them are out there. So I don't know. There's no product reviews for something like that. But that's probably about it. I don't plan to go crazy with it. I've got a Cherokee and a 77 Ford that I'll build if I'm going to build anything.
Gotcha. So do you camp with it also? I haven't seen any pictures of it with a tent or anything in the background.
I've been camping with it once, and it was just tent camping. I didn't sleep in the truck or on the back of it. I had a couple of people with me at that time, so there wouldn't be enough room anyway.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was actually for a rock climbing competition, like my own 2 hands and feet rock climbing in Southern Illinois. They call it Holy Boulders, and
There's mountains in Illinois.
no, just big rocks.
Okay.
It's a field of granite boulders, but it was a lot of fun. During the event, though, we set up a crock pot in the bed of the Rivian, plugged into the outlets, and so when we got back out of the crag at the end of the day, we had fresh roast. It was exquisite.
That is a great flex.
That is a sweet flex.
Like, come back. Oh, the crock pot's done. Here's our pulled pork sandwiches.
Yeah, we felt very full of ourselves, but it was fun. It was delicious.
I was thinking about that that accessory you can get where you pull out the entire kitchen from behind the rear seat, and you can have the induction stove, sink, and whatever else that Rivian sells for that off-road overlanding kitchen thing.
Yep, the camp kitchen. I'd love to have one. I originally had one on the configuration when I ordered it, but I think it got canceled for now. So we'll see. Hopefully they come out with another one. I don't know, but fingers crossed.
Does the truck have to be optioned from the factory with that, or could you get it like as an accessory and they just slide something in? Or
No, I think you could get it after the fact. They've had what they call the gear tunnel shuttle, which kind of goes into that pass through in the middle, and it is just a roller to get your stuff out. And I think the kitchen was supposed to clamp onto that. I'm not sure exactly how
Nice.
it works. I never saw one in person, but I would think you could probably even build your own.
I like Josh's comment here. How many miles does it take per crockpot cycle?
I really couldn't tell you. So few that I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Yeah.
tell a difference.
So he also wants to know if you know how much a Rivian weighs.
So the gross vehicle weight rating is just a hair over 8,500 pounds. And so when it's unloaded, it's somewhere around like 7,200, 7,300 is my knowledge. And when you're off road, you got to watch out in the sand. It'll do what heavy vehicles do. And that's just is what it is.
Weighs about 8,000 with full tank of gas.
Yeah.
When the batteries are all the way charged. That's actually an interesting question. I wonder if it weighs more or less if it's got a full charge and an empty charge.
If there's any difference, it's probably negligible. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's about the same weight difference as when your tires are fully deflated versus inflated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some chemical engineer out there who knows the answer and is busy typing it out, but I'm not a chemical
I hope
engineer.
so.
I couldn't tell you.
I hope so.
Is there anything else we really need to know about Rivians before we head out?
They are a very interesting glimpse into the future, and I'm excited for it. It's an electric vehicle with personality. It's not, like you're in a bubble or anything. It's kind of raw and unfiltered. You can feel the road coming through. The noise, vibration, and harshness is there if you want it, but you can take it away if you don't with the suspension settings. Give EVs a shot. They're not for everybody. They're not for every situation, but they can be a lot of fun. I mean, it's possible to have a good time in just about any car, and the Rivian's no different. It's got 800 horsepower. How can you go wrong?
Yeah.
And what good is all that power if you don't use it? That's what
Exactly.
some dictator said one time.
Who said that?
Some dictator, warlord, I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, we were super excited to finally get a Rivian owner on here. I'm glad that we met via random Facebook post. I got super geeky over somebody wheeling a Rivian. It was like, tell me more. And thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. Where can our listeners find you?
Yo, you're very welcome. It has been a pleasure being on here. So I've got a YouTube channel and my Instagram page are called Tim's Gearhead Garage. I've got a couple of videos on there of the Rivian doing Rivian things, as well as some of my other projects going on. And pretty soon, next couple of weeks, I'll have a full feature-length video out kind of detailing this trip I took to Utah and back.
Nice. You'll have to send that to us when it drops and we can share it on our page for our listeners or check it out as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely send that your way. I appreciate it.
We got one more question here from Josh is how many miles are Rivian batteries expected to last?
I wish I could tell you, Josh. Hopefully a lot, because I've got one in the driveway right now. As far as I know, it should last just like any well-engineered vehicle, a couple 100,000 miles, 200, 300, depends on how you drive it. With my luck and the way I drive, maybe a few less, but it's the miles per gallon that count more than anything.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we want to thank everybody who listens to the show and chimes in. Another fun comment section tonight, talking about one of my favorite things, electricity. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in and watching us live. Make sure you're sharing us with your friends, telling your neighborhood electrician about us. Maybe he'll check out the show and he can give some terrible puns to the show as well. It really does help us grow. And God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren Medical Gear Outfitters and Colby Valve to see all their great gear. We're a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a comment or question? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.net or through our social media channels by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe, and courteous. Thanks for listening.
And don't forget to join us next week for Lifeline Fab.
This episode